Hey everybody, Grizz again. How's everybody doing? Been a couple of weeks since my last post here, so we'll give it a go. Things are quieting down a little bit. So what have I got on the go? Not a lot on the tables. You can see mostly bigger models. They take a little more time doing seaming and coating and that, and had a few other things to keep me busy on the side there. So anyway, I'll just show you quick. Here's another bird bath. The light isn't very good there. Another bird bath base right here with just one big seam with registry keys in the back. We've got this big monster here. It's a big, huge starfish. I think it's going to be quite good. We've already had a couple people come in and look at it already, and the fellow next door has already put an order in for one whenever I start pouring. So I think it's going to be a good seller, this thing. You know, if around a pool or that kind of an area, I think they're good. Got a few other done here. Bunch up on the rack, curing. I think I'm around 40 or so, something like that. Not really keeping much track this year. This is the little Asian lady here, or big Asian lady. Almost done. I just put a couple extra coats on the seams. I think I mentioned that before. I like the seams a little beefier. So you could do up to 3 coats a day on those seams. It's pretty easy and be done with it. So here's another big beast I've been working on. This is a big gargoyle, leaning gargoyle. He's sleeping with one eye open. He's a bit of a challenge, this one. Lots of backfilling, creative seam work there. Vents, there's vents all over the place. In the back, got vent under his chin, vent under the fist, registry keys. But yeah, he's a beast, that one, but he's pretty sweet looking. I've had my eye on that model for a couple of years now. So and what do we got over here? We just got a little pear. I've got a whole bunch of fruit because we're sort of in the Okanagan here. It's sort of the fruit basket here. It's all the orchards and everything are located for BC here, and most of Western Canada actually gets shipped out of the Okanagan. So we've got apples and pears and grapes and all kinds of things already in the store. So I sort of forgot about this model. I had it sitting on a back shelf and walked by it and went, oh, hey, wait a minute. So threw him on the table. So here's something, another little interesting. I tried the other day, just quickly. You know, I've got the plants, the jungle up in the back there. So I grabbed an elephant ear and laid it down, a small one, and threw 4 coats on top of them, and it came out really nice. But of course it's not like if you're taking a casting off of a concrete, because now this is gonna be a negative, right? This one here. So you can use this for, if you make like a melamine box and you want to make like a picture frame or a collage, you could just lay these in the winter time. It allows you to do some work in the winter. So today, because since that worked out so good, today I went out in the garden. The snow's finally gone. Yes, freaking snow, 2 weeks in a row. I got a couple maple leaves, a piece of stinky kale, and I mean it stinks. Some cabbage leaves. They're winter harvest, so they stay pretty. It's amazing how much of a frost or a freeze they can take. We did get down minus 15 Celsius about 2 weeks ago, and they held up really good. So just slapping some rubber on there. You can do it, goes quick. You only need about 4 coats to get a skin like this. So you can use them for lots of things. I think for doing like benches, like if you made a bench top, you could make a melamine box, lay these in, put your concrete, and you're going to get a nice, really nice negative draft off these guys. Also things you could use them for is, you remember I showed you those little, I don't have them here in my office, the little urethane stamps for doing for clay work. These 2 you could use as a stamp for doing clay. If you're using some clay work and you want to match it to something or a new texture, you could press it into your warm clay and get all that nice vein structure and stuff coming through. So I'm going to play with it a bit, see what I can do with them while I can get the leaves still. And I know it's a panic time at this time of year. You're still trying to get stuff done and there's just nothing left on the trees, and this might be a good solution. It'll give you something you can work with in the winter time. But I'll keep you posted on how that's all working. So I just wanted, I'll try and give every vid I try and give a little bit of useless useful information. Some of you probably say useless, but it's come up before, is how you clean brushes. And I'll just show you quick what I do. So we'll just pretend like this has got latex. I've been painting on it. So what I'll usually do is, if I do a big piece like this or a big guy like that, I will do one coat all the way around, both sides. Before I go on to another model, I'll come over, and what's in here is just cold, not hot, because if it's hot, it's going to seize your rubber right off the bat. Cold water with a little bit of dish soap in it, and you can put a little bit splash of ammonia in, a household ammonia if you want. So then I just dip it in, and I give it a stir, and that'll get most of the rubber off. And then I come over here to just clean water and give it another stir. Shake out your brush just on the floor or wherever in your shop. So what you're going to be left with is, when you're going to look at this brush, it's going to have all little tiny balls of rubber on the end of it, and you don't want to go sticking that on one of your models after, because they can come off. So what I do is, I'm going to try and just hold my camera here, and I'm just going to switch this over to the tripod. There we go. So then what I do is I just take a wire brush and I hang it over the table, and then I just brush through the brush and then flip it over, and that'll brush off all the little balls that get on the end, and then you're good. You just give it a quick pull to pull any, if you ripped some hairs off of your brush, and then go on to do your next coat on another piece. And of course, yes, it's going to get gummed up with rubber eventually, but what you do after a couple of weeks, you get a second wire brush and you just brush them against each other, and you'll pull all the old rubber out of your brush, so you're not wrecking your wire brushes. So then what I do for, say, smaller models, so say like I had the little pair over there and another one of comparable size, like say over there is the that brush is making it go out of focus, is the little pillar over there. I do two medium pieces like that before I'd clean my brush. If I have a bunch of, say this is a first coat, and that's, say I have about 4 or 5 pieces of the first coat, I'd absolutely, before I started, would use a clean brush before you put your first coat on. Even a new brush sometimes, because you just want that first coat to be really, really good. And you don't want any junk showing through or coming off of your brush into your piece. So anyway, that was the useless or useful information for today. And that's what I want to mention about cleaning your brushes. Now, to get rid, this is really important. So at the end of the day, depends how heavy I'm doing. Some maybe twice a day, I'll clean out my water and I'll dump this out. Don't ever put that down in your waste sink. Don't put it down, because you'll screw up all your pipes. It's going to be nasty. Now, this, speaking of nasty, so this is what I dump it into. It's just an old bucket that I use for concrete tools, cleaning, and it builds up sludge. But here's just from, see this? Now that is just from the water that was in that in the cup and in the rinsing water. So you can see how that builds up on there. So don't put that down your toilet, don't put it down your sink, or you're going to have major problems. So dump it into a bucket like that, and what's going to happen is the rubber will get cold, it'll settle out, and you'll be able to dump the water off outside somewhere, or you have a dumping station, and then you can just pull all that old rubber. That old rubber will just pull right out of that bucket, but do not put it down your sink, or you're going to be really sorry. Okay, everybody, gonna let you go. It's getting a bit long. See you later.